Welcome to Miss Sarah's Math Corner. This is video 1 of 2 about angles. In the first video, we're going to be talking about the different types of angles and what an angle is. And in the next video, we're going to talk about how to measure an angle using a protractor. So in this video, we're going to start talking about what exactly is an angle. Well, an angle is a geometric figure, and it's formed by two lines that start at the same point, and that point is called a vertex. When we measure an angle, we measure it in degrees, of course, and the symbol for degrees is a little circle like that. When we see an angle and we go to measure it, sometimes it has letters next to the points, and sometimes it doesn't. So it really does depend on what you're working on at a certain point. But when you see it like this, you will often talk about how do you say the angle that you're measuring. So in this particular case, I have angle ABC, and you would write like this, angle ABC. And when you get into high school and you start looking at measuring different types of angles and things like that, and you'll have different angles next to each other, and the worksheet or workbook would ask, okay, measure the following angle, angle ABC or DEF or whatever it may be. And then you ask yourself, well, how do I know which one I'm actually measuring? Well, the trick to that is that you always are going to look at the middle letter of the angle that's described. The middle letter tells you what vertex you are measuring. So in this case, if I'm measuring angle ABC, the B is where the vertex is. So when I get to measuring, I'm going to be measuring this angle right here. So that's just a little intro on what an angle is. We're going to talk about the different types of angles, and that's going to be really, really important when we get to actually measuring them. So there are a lot of different types of angles, but in elementary school up until grade 6, we only talk about a certain few. So what are those? Well, first of all, we have an acute angle. An acute angle measures between 1 degree and 89 degrees. And the way, of course, to remember that is that it's acute, it's very small. You will also have a right angle. And a right angle measures exactly 90 degrees. You'll recognize it because it always has a little square in the corner. So it's not going to be rounded like this one right here. It's going to be a square, like a corner, which is 90 degrees. And that's going to be the clue to tell you that it is a 90-degree angle. You will also have an obtuse angle. And an obtuse angle is between 91 degrees and 179 degrees. So that is a larger angle, so it's big, it's fat, it's the opposite of an acute angle. So those are the three main types, but you may in elementary school see a couple of other ones. So you'll have also a straight angle. And a straight angle is really easy to recognize because it literally is a straight line. So you'll see that it's open all the way. And it measures exactly 180 degrees. So people often compare it to, this is why when you do a half turn in snowboarding or skateboarding, you call it a 180 because you're going 180 degrees. You also might see an angle called a reflex angle. And in elementary school, you'll just be asked to probably recognize that. You may or may not be asked to measure it, but it's really simple to recognize because it goes past a straight angle. So it's that little bit more. So you'll have your straight angle imaginary right there. That'll be 180 degrees. And then you'd measure this extra part here that will be bigger than 180 degrees, and that's a reflex angle. So you're not measuring inside, that would be an obtuse angle, but you're measuring all of this here, which would be your reflex angle. So really important before you start measuring any angles with a protractor that you're very, very careful to say, okay, I need to know what kind of angle I'm measuring first. It could be an acute angle, which is smaller than 90 degrees. It could be a right angle, which is exactly 90 degrees. An obtuse angle, larger than 90 but less than 180. A straight angle, exactly 180 degrees, or a reflex angle, which is more than 180 degrees. So once you're ready with that, we'll move on to the next video, which is how to measure angles using a protractor.